How's it going? Come on in there, baby. Yes, indeed. I was, of course, you know how it is. If I'm a minute behind on 12 o'clock, you know it must be something with technology. So you see my background on black. It wouldn't cast correctly. It is what it is. We just keep on moving. It is 12:04, and I am JB Bryan, President and Chief Investment Officer of JB Bryan Financial Group, the home of AfroEconomics, established in March 10th of 1995. Indeed. Yes, started the business on my birthday. So that somebody might be watching this 100 years from now, you'll know that. You'll know that little known Black history fact. Indeed. Yes, indeed. I don't know why. Like seeing that phone call made me think about making sure that you can hear me. And then I put that down. Everything happens for a reason. Indeed. Well, thank you so much. This topic is what we have to talk about. Yes, indeed. I see you back. I see you. I see you out there. Thank you. Please chat. Please share. Please subscribe. We need information like this coming at us. You know, something that is informative, something that is empowering, something that you can grow from, that you can share with your children, that is thought provoking, is empowering. I want to share something with you. I'm hoping. You know, I didn't even think about that idea when I'm gonna try to share this to you. When I share this with you, in hopes that you can hear it. But I saw this and I said, like, yeah, I really like this. Um, I'm gonna share the screen. Miss King, indeed, good to see you. So share this. Let me know immediately. Text back if you can hear what I'm going to share. And then, because I share it doesn't mean that you'll be able to hear it. But I think when I do this, make sure you visit my Facebook page. You know, I try to post on the regular. It's JB Bryan's, and also have the JB Bryan Financial Group and the AfroEconomics page as well. Here we go. Let's see. You can't hear it. Okay, wait a second. And I'm gonna figure out how to stop it. I'm gonna share this and see if this helps. I'm gonna do it again. Back. Share again. Share again. Share again. When I click that, I'm gonna share this one. That's the key. Okay, here we go. I just knew you were
Understand what
here.
it truly meant so I can apply it the right way. The Hebrew meaning of wealth, which I believe is pronounced Osher, stands for abundance, security, and protection. The Hebrew meaning for strong city, which I believe is pronounced Kuryu, stands for a fortress, a defense system. The Hebrew meaning for poverty, which I believe is pronounced Reish, stands for a state of weakness, a trap. Well, first things first, what we can translate from all of that is money is meant to be a shield.
Have you seen this video?
So I was reading Proverbs.
Have you seen this video?
So I was reading Proverbs this morning, and it taught me the reason why chasing money is just as dangerous as ignoring it. So follow me here in this thought for a moment. It says in Proverbs 10, a rich man's wealth is his strong city. The poverty of the poor is their ruin. So I'm like, okay, what does that mean? So I do some deeper research, and here's what I found. First things first, what you should know about me is that I'm very deep on studying the Hebrew meaning of words, like the etymology. so I can understand what it truly meant so I can apply it the right way. The Hebrew meaning of wealth, which I believe is pronounced Osher, stands for abundance, security, and protection. Hebrew meaning for strong city, which I believe is pronounced Kuryu, stands for a fortress, a defense system. Hebrew meaning for poverty, which I believe is pronounced Reish, stands for a state of weakness, a trap. Well, first things first, what we can translate from all of that is money is meant to be a shield, not an idol. And then I wanted to apply this lesson to myself as a man, and I came to the conclusion that there are two types of men. First, you got the man who ignores money, and then you have the man who worships money. And let's break down each one. So first, you have the man who ignores money. In my opinion, that's the man who's comfortable with being broke, or he's a procrastinator. Like, he never actually starts investing. He says, I'll get to it at another time. It's not until his car breaks down that he begins to panic. It's not until his children need something that he starts scrambling. And it's not until his wife is like, we got to make ends meet, that he's like, all right, what do I got to do? Now he's scrambling. The proverb said that man's poverty is his ruin. Then you have the man who chases money, who worships money, right? Like, he's always going after the bag, and he's chasing the next deal. He's burning himself out. He's neglecting his wife and his family in the process. He never truly gets to appreciate all that he's built because he's on to the next check. So this man is really no better than the man who ignores money, because his wealth isn't a fortress. It's actually a prison. It's just a luxury prison. So either way, a man who doesn't understand money is controlled by it. So there's four things that you should take away from this, bro.
Okay.
Number one, a wise man builds wealth, but he never lets it own him. Number two, money should serve you, never the other way around. Number three, and this one is probably most important to me, is that you need money to protect your family, but if it costs you your family in the process, what was the point? Number four, the goal is balance. Build your fortress, but do not become a prisoner inside of that fortress in the process. And I want to leave you with this very important verse, bro. Proverbs says the blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. It means that if your wealth comes from God, it will not come at the cost of your family, your peace, or your integrity. Money should serve you, not enslave you.
Have you seen this video?
So I was reading
money should serve you, not enslave you. Whoa, powerful, powerful, powerful. It's like that is extremely helpful and relevant during times such as these. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Owens. I appreciate you. Thank you. Indeed. You know, like, at times like this, when you see the stock market going up and down and all the volatility and all these discussions, you know, a client sent me a chat, and she was asking me like what my opinion was on it, and it was basically saying that the world is against us as Black women and Black people, and that all these, you know, things, don't trust anybody, don't trust anything, that, you know. And as the brother was reading that word, he said man, but that's women and man, women and men. When God is speaking, he's talking to both of us. And now we live in a time where a lot of money is going through men's hands. A lot of money is going through women's hands. Are we being a good guardian over the few things that we get? I have had people look at me in the face and tell me they're not willing to take on the risk of the stock market, but they will go to a casino and give it all their money. According to research, Black women are more likely, women of color, the research said, are more likely to have an addiction to gambling. Have an addiction to gambling. Isn't that something? With all that we have done and accomplished and had to do and fight for, and, you know, and so much of Black wealth is depending on us, for us to be the ones who are having that addiction. Not an addiction to, I want to get more information, I got to talk to JB Bryan, I got to figure out how to secure my family, how to secure the future. No, because with all of the education that is bragged about the Black woman, Black women and women of color are still more likely to grow old and be poor than our Black men. So we're doing all these things and going into all these school loan debt, but we're not figuring out a plan. Like the brother was saying, you're becoming a slave. Our people are becoming a slave to the system. That's the system. The system that we need to be texting about is the mentality of we're gotta buy things all the time, buy degrees, buy the casino, buy a vacation, buy a cruise, buy a trip. It's always got to be getaway, getaway, getaway. I remember telling my ex-husband when he wanted to, he and his wife, who had, she had children, and then he wanted to get my daughter involved in it in the middle of the year, like say about this time before spring break. My daughter was in middle school, that it was time. They wanted to go on a trip to Disney because they wanted to go on a trip to Disney before everybody else goes on a trip to Disney. So because I was outnumbered, I was looked at like I was crazy when I said, I don't understand the celebration. Are your kids doing something great that I don't know about? Because I know that my daughter needs to be in the classroom when the classroom is open, and that she's got another week that she can do it. But that is the ages where the mentality has to be established, that we have to do what we have to do when we have to do it. And doing things at our convenience and inconveniencing the future and the attitude of our children. Like just setting that example that it's okay to do that can hurt the legacy forever. That's the same thing as, the other financial habits that we set up that hurt the legacy of our children. Because if your children see you struggling and fussing about money all the time, that is a slave to money. That's not a politician's fault. That's not because of who is in the White House. I was just looking at a video and they were talking about perception. And they were like, the perception that we would decide that one person is a devil and another person is a God and perfect, is based on just perception and what you're listening to. But we're not spending any time to look at the reality and the numbers. Because the reality of it and the numbers is that the stock market goes up and down. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. So a stock pullback can be helpful for the person who is, first of all, has done a proper risk analysis and has the portion of their portfolio invested correctly. And they have the discipline to be an investor. Because everybody doesn't need to be an investor. I was telling someone, yesterday, because she had this group of people that want to make an investment. And I said, the thing about it is that even though it may seem like that's easier to do than putting it into the stock market, but in the stock market, you put your money in, you want your money back out, you sell it, we get your money back out. But you try to do that with a group of friends, the likelihood of each of you having the same mentality. Because right now, there are people who cannot handle being in the market. So if you do something and it has nothing to do with the market, and then it's not regulated at all, and the only way for you to get your money back is to sue a friend of yours, and we don't realize how much risk, but we'll do that. I've seen that. I've seen people sell even when the market is doing great. Sell out, take it out, and do something even more that's more risky. The fact that you're a long-term investor and you have long-term goals and you actually sell in a weak market, right there, that decision. If you know, and we know it, one thing we know for sure is that the market goes up and down. And the second thing you know for sure that you don't need that money right now, because if you need that money right now, then it should have never been invested for the long term. because it wouldn't have been mine. I thoroughly psychologically check my clients because it stresses me out when they're stressing out over something. So I don't want that. I don't want that. There's no way I'm going to put somebody in the stock market and I know that they psychologically, even based on the algorithm that I use, that they can't handle it. I don't care how much money they say that they want to make. But what they'll do is do something even more aggressive that's not regulated, that's not available through a licensed professional, that is off the grid. And then when they do that, and in most cases I've seen over my long history of seeing people mess over money, unfortunately, because I'm going to tell you, I make people multi-millionaires. That's what I do. And sometimes I hear people say like, well, I don't really want to be, that it's over for them. It's over for them. It's like saying it's not really that important for you to be healthy. I mean, that's pretty much what a lot of people do. Even if they don't say it, their actions say it. And the person doesn't really have to tell me that they don't want to be a multimillionaire. Because million right now, I want more for that for you, But they, that they don't realize your actions are everything. Because if you have the lack of knowledge, you don't know what you're doing. You're just in there buying stuff on some app, going in and out, in and out, in and out. Statistically, I don't care what it says that it paid the last 10 years, you couldn't even last 10 months. So those historical performance numbers don't even apply to that person. I often wonder. Now, I'm truly blessed because I have clients, from day one clients. So we can really tell their long-term return. No, but how you doing, Ms. Anderson? Yes, you are one of them indeed. Like, you can tell. But the thing is that you have to make sure that everything is appropriate for that particular person. But it's amazing how many people during these times like this don't have anybody to talk to. They don't have an advisor at all. They don't know what they're doing. You're on board. That's right, Mr. Womack. He's on board. Yes, you are. Like, you have to have, especially during turbulent times, I believe that you are statistically preparing yourself for more success if you have someone who has been through worse. No, most of the stuff that I've seen, I can see. Like, I honestly see that what we're going through is what is just an economic adjustment. We're not even in a recession. Thank you. I got your back too. We're not in a recession. We're in volatile times. And that's exactly what the market promises. Looking at research this morning, and it's telling me, like, it says the number of stock pullbacks during a typical year, when they surveyed it from 1928 till 2024, through 2024, 1920, a typical number of pullbacks. Now, over 6 times 3% pullbacks, over 6 times on average each year. A 5% correction versus that 3%, pretty frequent. 5% correction, over 3 times each year since 1928. A 10% correction, at least once a year, each year since 1928. A 15% correction every 2 years. Bear market, one every 3.5 years. Now, 3.5, that makes me think. That's probably political. Because every 4 years, we're doing what? Having an election. We're having adjustment. I honestly think that what it takes when you are to be an investor, we really have to psychologically think about it. Like what it takes to be an investor. An investor, when you are buying into this stock market, you are buying into businesses. Businesses. This is businesses that you're buying. You're buying partial ownership, even if we're doing ETF or mutual fund or so inside. It's real businesses that you're getting. And we need to make sure that we understand like what we're buying. What we're buying. It's amazing. Like we're becoming too disconnected, especially in your work plans. You just see these ABC funds, XYZ fund, so and so and so. That the AfroEconomics membership for people, especially people that are actively working, it's valuable. For my clients that are retired, it's extremely important. It makes me want to live forever because what we're doing is so rare. What we're doing is so rare that based on research, it literally, it is not going to be possible for me to duplicate myself. So I am doing everything I can to do as much as I can while I'm alive, because the existence of advisors that will work with you on your investment portfolio, your tax strategies, your family and legacy planning, and all of the stuff that we talk about. No, according to their computers, we ain't got time for that. Too many people suing people. Everybody's doing lawsuits. So they don't want people involved in it anymore. So the future of AfroEconomics, yes, is all computer based. Yes, my dissertation is on robo advisors, on the future of it, because I know that's where everything is going. So what we have to do right now, that's why I'm doing these videos. That's why I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't feel my best today. And most of that is probably because I worked out, then I went to Whole Foods, and then I said, I don't feel that good today. So then instead of getting a meal, I ate ice cream sandwiches. Organic ice cream sandwiches, though. I was like, what is wrong with you, sis? I invested all of that. You're like, invested. Like you can't. But that's just a dip. That's just a dip. That is just a short-term dip. You cannot give up on my health and my future because I decided today to have the ice cream sandwich. And are you doing that? Are you doing that? Stupid, you know I love ice cream. You love it. You look, seeing your name made me think about ice cream, but that ice cream sandwich is gone now. But it will pass. This too shall pass. Bad things happen. And bad things happen, but we can't just continue to chase that. Like that brother said in that video that we started with, you know what I mean? Are you chasing, or what are you chasing? What you're chasing, is it actually even good for you? Just a dip. Just a dip. Just a dip. Yeah, that's the irony in it, right? Just a dip. No more for the week. No, Vicky, no more for the week. Got me. Oh my goodness. Sugar is, I'm telling you. Yes, indeed. But what are we doing? Like if I did that on the regular, what type of investing are you doing on the regular? Are you doing ice cream sandwich? Or are you doing investments that actually are going to pay off over the long term? Right? So remember my stats on this happens all the time, because it will cost us as the small investor more, because the more small investors sell off, the more institutions look at this as a buying opportunity. I was listening to an analyst this morning. He was like, actually, we've been enjoying an overpriced S&P. S&P, was selling like 20 times earnings per share on that when they analyzed the average earnings on the contents of the 500 largest companies in the US. Like it was very overvalued. So there were probably people sitting there with billions of dollars trying to see that dip, And their computer was like, boom, bought it. When what? The small investor that doesn't know any better was giving them a better opportunity to get it. Like they running scared. Fear is not of God. Like, first of all, we need to make sure that you always have your long-term plan set up. So this money is for my long term. This money is for, and long-term money, in order for it to outpace the cost of living, you need that to be outpacing inflation. Like, so in order for that to do that, to build up to what you want, I'm telling you, I do have clients. We work, they work. Then they get to a point where it's like, I don't want this volatility anymore. But first, you got to build. We got the accumulation phase. Accumulation phase is that what we call that long-term investor. Then it's like, okay, I got it. Then you want to, your risk level changes. So my computer sends out what's called a check-in to make sure, hey, is Vicky D still as aggressive as she said she was last time? Maybe we need to change something. She was very aggressive. Now she's saying that she's not. What has changed in her life? Are you going to be needing money? Do you need your income to go up next year? And things that, like, I'm telling you, these things are important. Sometimes, I literally know of people who have just sold off and they have absolutely no need for that money right now. And they're really excited because, yes, it was up from where they started, but it's that compounding over that long term, not adding a dime. I was saying that in our meeting over the weekend. I was saying that, like, in 1977, my father bought a Coupe de Ville Cadillac, put it, and it was $11,000. So for some reason, being me, one day I just said, you know what if he took that 11,000 and it was in the S&P 500? Nothing, where I'm trying to outperform the S&P, just, doing that S&P, reinvesting it over my life. How much money would I have to inherit? And it was over $2 million. Over $2 million. And that Cadillac has been broke down. I had to watch it slow death and fall apart. But it matters because you can, we'll say, well, you know what, that's okay. And that my father was very, very, very well educated. But if he had left me with $2 million, nobody would have given him the respect that they gave us for pulling up with a Coupe de Ville. When we will pull up with that Coupe de Ville, the respect that you get, Vicky, is just hard to describe. And that is extremely sad that our community has that. And I was so young, I did not know that. But I did realize, so then after I graduated and everything, and I started my business, my family being like really hyper educated, they were not impressed with this entrepreneurship quest of mine. So I got this need to show that I have money. Because when you're an investor, nobody knows how much money you got in the stock market. You got privacy policy. I can't tell you how rich these people are that are making these comments. No, you don't know. But if you buy something, it will show. So I said, oh man, I know my parents like Mercedes. I'm going to go get me a Mercedes. So I got the C-Class. They were excited, but not too excited. I went back. I got the M. They were excited, but whatever. I got that S-Class. My mama was so excited, so proud of me. She would drive it to homecoming. I felt like here you are. I've done all this. gone to school, this and that, got my business. You know, they would go through town and people go, oh, your daughter's JB Bryan, whatever. But when I got that Cadillac, isn't that something? So a lot of, when I got that Mercedes S-Class 5, but you know, hey, that was a high standard. But somewhere in there, I had to let her down. And I also got the Lexus SUV, the big one when it first came out. Like, you know, somewhere in there, God spoke to me, and I'm not even exaggerating. God spoke to me in my attempt. It was like 2007 with the Great Recessions. God spoke to me. You are going to be broke trying to impress your family. I ain't trying to impress clients. It really didn't. You know, I started my business with a Nissan. I wanted to impress my family. I love the way they walk out and they look at it. And I love the way my mother wanted to drive the car. I love that. If there's anybody out there that I want her. I know y'all are like, what happened? I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? I tried to bring the other one. That system went down. Look, thank God for having two computers. Am I still frozen now? Is it still frozen? It shouldn't be still frozen. I hope not. But I can see you all. Tell me if it's not still frozen. Oh, I'm back. Great. Fantastic. I just switched computers. Got so excited talking about that. But investments, that was pretty fast. Thank God I had this computer already set up over here. Y'all know I'm ready to go. So I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna make sure that I bring back the key points. I want to make sure that you focus on the fact that these corrections, this market volatility is what is expected historically. This is what has been happening. This tab is using your camera and microphone. I'm glad. I hope that that's a good thing. I hope you can see it. Yes, thank you, Snoopy D. Yes, indeed. But I want to pull out. I want to go back and get this other computer because I had some key things that I want to make sure that we talk about on that. But I will. Oh, I know. I can just do it on here. So, just briefly, how do we get through times like this? If you're nervous, you're doing the right investments, but you want to realize how you're going to maximize it. You know, we use this big term dollar cost averaging, but the bottom line is be a regular investor if you're trying to build wealth. Be a regular investor. But if you're regularly investing, you got to make sure you're investing in the right thing. Mr. Harris, can you hear me? You got to make sure that you're investing in the right thing. So dollar cost averaging is fantastic, but or you dollar cost averaging, meaning taking advantage of the dips. Because when you're investing on the regular, even in what is considered a bad market, you know, let's just use the S&P as an example. So if they say the S&P is down, 10%, and you're still investing every month because you're preparing for your retirement, then boom, you're getting a cheaper price for what was considered fantastic a couple of days ago. So you're buying it just at a cheaper price. Who would run away from the mall just because the earring costs less than it was last week? No, I think it's easy for us to see investments as horrible when they go down in price because we think of it as like, I don't know, but we don't feel about that about clothes. Isn't that interesting? Like you never say, oh, I don't want this outfit because it's on sale. I hope nobody says that. There might be somebody who's just like, it's cheap to me. But we should be excited about finding something that's at a better price, correct? No, you want to have the best price possible. And then you also want to be, how do you protect yourself from time when you see all this news and it's, terrifying? How do you protect yourself? You make sure that you have your money in different buckets. You have your emergency money, but then you also have your investments for the long term. That when it stop having these discussions, no, we need to have more discussions on how could these things that are going on, like the tariffs, how could they actually help Americans? How could they help? I was shocked to see how many states use Canada to get power. And power is like, and Canada is being like really strong about it. Like, we will stop providing you with power, as if there's not states next to our states that could give that state. I'm sure that the reason that that state uses Canada is because it's cheaper for them to get the power from Canada. We'll get the power somewhere else. Canada is like kind of tripping on that from a business perspective. I can't imagine, I can imagine saying that to somebody. Well, you know what? You do that. Would you do that? You know what? Matter of fact, I will just stop selling you ice cream altogether, as if you're not making money off selling me ice cream. So you think you're the only place that sells ice cream? They'll hurt more than the U.S. will hurt. Because every time when that's gone, some other source will come up. Where are the opportunities with us not getting it from Canada? Where are the opportunities for us to look at whatever is presented to us in a negative way as a positive for black people, all people having a new place to work? And I don't have any problem with them building new places for us to get jobs. That's the way we should look at it. Who wants to start a power company? We shouldn't be getting it. We should have Congress, the Congressional Black Congress. They want to look out for Black people. They need to be going around trying to figure out how we can find a Black company or some Black utility or some way that we could be providing power to those states. How can we get involved in that? How is this energy? Like, we need our representatives, especially if they're a member of what is called a Congressional Black Caucus, the Congressional Black Congress, or whatever, if they're to look out for Black interests, then let's start holding them accountable to how do you take care of Black interests? Because we have so much randomness going on that we're not able to benefit properly from what is happening. We have a whole new administration that is in there, and we should be taking advantage of the opportunities that are available as contractors. I don't care how many DEI programs that you get rid of, a Congressional Black Congress still exists. If you still exist, you're supposed to go in there and look out for our interests as Black investors, as Black workers in the federal and in corporate America. And I feel like we should push that. I should write a letter. But I just can't stand politics. But I will say it, and you could share it with them. If you know that someone that's in the Congressional Black Congress, you tell them that JB Bryan said that we need to be having group meetings that are talking specifically about federal Black employees and how to make sure that they feel more secure about their future. We should be talking about the thrift savings plan, the federal government's program. We should be talking about Social Security and the changes in there. We should be talking specifically about Medicare for our retirees and why are they spending so much more money out of pocket. How these Medicare changes, you're leaving the premium the same, but the impact of this out-of-pocket money on the Black senior citizen is very expensive. We are spending a lot of money, but they go in there and they're talking about Medicaid and something that has no current challenge for the specific Medicaid user. I know that possibly that might happen, but right now it's a state and a federal issue on who's going to pay for Medicaid. But Medicare right now is costing my clients way too much out-of-pocket money. I had a client 10 plus years ago, he's passed on now, that had to pay $2,000, and he was retired from corporate America, a huge Philip Morris, big corporation, great insurance. The Medicare would not cover his antibiotic. He was trying to save his limb. He had, thank God he had the money, $2,000 on the antibiotic. They still ended up taking his limb. These are the type of, things I encourage you to look deeper at. I also encourage us to make sure that we do not allow fear to take us off course. I'm not sharing any of those facts about that Medicare is asking for too much money out of pocket. It's just that I don't want you to retire and think that Medicare is going to make everything better. Not in its current situation. It's just not. And it is directly connected to your income. So you could pay a lot more than that minimum. I have clients now. Only one client actually has an employer that covers any type of premium that they would have to pay. And that was in the academic system. So these are the type of things that if you're a member of a union, they should be addressing. Like, okay, if I retire, how do I take care of these Medicare premiums? Can you all? And it is. And yes, the answer is yes. And if they say we don't do that, we need to get more people like me involved. Like, you get lawyers involved in stuff all the time, but we don't get, financial people involved in it. No, lawyers don't do what I do, and I don't do what they do. So when it comes to like financial matters, things that are impacting retirees, things that impact workers, things that impact, investment challenges. Like, I know for a fact at the federal government, they have certain agencies that have better retirement plans than the others. Totally different options. Most people don't even know that. Yes, totally different ones, totally different TSP, totally different thing. So we have to maximize what they make available to you. We have to maximize what they make available to you. Yes. But stop thinking that it's going to be one political party is going to look out for you and another political party hates you. No, we got to be smart. We have to be smart and maximize whatever political party is in there. I'm going to tell you, it has some things that are going to work to your advantage. And there is a lot of things that are up for consideration that this other party starts pushing back on no taxes on Social Security, then the Democrats are going to have to explain that to me on why they think people should pay taxes on their Social Security. I'm just sorry, but that is sick and that will hurt us because there's a lot of Black people who rely completely on Social Security. Yes. And if they're going to move and stop taxation, because your Social Security could be taxed up to 85%. We have to start looking at issues like that, having a livable wage that is required. That's having a huge impact on our community. And we don't have any Black people walking out of Congress about a livable wage requirement that was promised to us 4 years ago. It's hard for you to imagine the millions of Black folk who are working on minimum wage. No benefits. Our community is more likely than any community to not have a job with benefits. A lot of the Black people that work for the federal government are not working for the federal government. They're working for contractors that do not have the benefits for them. We got to talk about stuff like that. It's deep. It's deep. And instead, the media only wants us to talk about what's important for them. Oh my goodness, so-and-so who made $350,000 a year has now lost his job. I don't have no problem with you making $350,000 a year, but that's the part. You got that big, you up there on that level, those things happen. But can we talk about, the things that are affecting the masses of us? Like, why is my out-of-pocket going up? Why is the cost of living adjustment way less than the cost of living? We're skipping over the obvious. So don't allow these short-term changes in the market to take you off course of your long-term financial goals. That's my point. Focus on the long term. Focus on there's going to be that it would be great to have money that lives longer than you do. Right? And I shared and they introed with that on CBS early on Monday on my birthday, that a Warren Buffett quote that I shared with them. And Warren Buffett said, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful." He's saying be a contrarian. That's what we call it in textbooks. Like, everybody's running from the market. We should be looking for some opportunities. We should be looking for buying opportunities. You should be, JB, what, hey, I'm the best. Is it, saying be fearful where everybody's running in the casino. Look, be fearful when they're being greedy. When they're scared, what they're afraid of, that's what we need to be going to get. Because it's going to come back. A lot of times what we're looking at is the Dow Jones, and they show it and they say, the Dow's down, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people selling off their 401k because the Dow is down, and the Dow is only 30 stocks. The Dow is not a good indicator of the market overall. And generally, your portfolio isn't either. Especially if you haven't talked with an investment advisor about it. No. I can't tell you how often people are afraid of the market and they are not even exposed to what they think that they're exposed to. What they're afraid of is totally inappropriate. Like, it's just crazy. Right? Like, we have to be proactive. Well, I know I'm going to need money later, so let me do that. I was somewhere the other day, and this person said, was talking about my hair. And I thought about, for some reason, I don't know what, a few minutes ago, when I was combing my hair and everything, and I said, my hair deciding to be natural was a proactive move that I made years ago before my daughter was born. So that's 20 plus years ago, to do something to take care of my health from the inside out. But to not do things that I know, like when I'm 80, if I live to be 80, I still want to have a head full of hair. But if you're doing things that are not going to give you a head full of hair, then you're not going to have it. And that relates to everything in life. If I'm wasting my money, God forbid, there ain't no way you're going to have money later. And if I'm always running with the crowd, doing what everybody else is doing, they scared, I'm scared. Look at that text they sent. They said we better not do that. This and who is they? Who is they? And who is, what? Like, what? What's wrong? We're so blessed. And we can just give more of our time to looking at our blessings and taking care of our blessings and watching over our blessings and stop allowing these fear mongers, I think they're called, like just people with these negative headlines. And then when you look into it, it's not true. It's not true. When you look past it, that's why I asked someone the other day, who's a minister, and he posted the most negative thing. It's a lot, though. I've noticed that lately. A lot of ministers have been posting very negative things. I don't know what they're going through. I don't know what they're going through. Maybe because they feel like they figured it out, that you get a lot of posts by doing that. Like, I mean, it's like Jesus, if Jesus was walking through and he was just like, y'all ain't shit. Y'all ain't never going to be shit. Maybe more people would have followed him. No, because he was just so negative. They've been like, he's right. He's right. Y'all ain't shit. Y'all ain't gonna never be shit. But I'm gonna get with him and I'll be with the I'm shit crew, But that's where we are now. What in the world? But he took that chance. So when you invest and you focus on not being materialistic and not giving into the ways of this world, and you focus on healthy habits financially, physically, spiritually, mentally, keeping your family together, and those things, there's no way you ain't gonna have everything that you need. Even if you ain't no multi-billionaire, you ain't gonna need it, because all of the stuff that you've done will allow you to work. That's how I try to focus a lot, literally, on my health, because I love what I do. If you don't focus on your health, then you better save a whole lot of money, because you ain't gonna be able to work long. Can't do both. Can't smoke, drink, run with men and women, going and doing all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You can't even stop working and keep spending in the casino. What does someone say? Like, things that we do like are so emotionally inappropriate. And we do stuff and we just close our eyes and just do it. No, I just don't do it. If there's anything that you're doing financially, but you wouldn't feel comfortable telling me about it, you're most likely doing the wrong thing. You're most likely, like, just use it. You don't even have to tell me about it. But if you know it's something like, JB would tell me, I don't really know these people, I better not give them my money. JB told me I didn't research it. I didn't read the fine print. Remember last week we were talking about contracts. Y'all look at that. People signing stuff. Ain't no problem with signing it, but know what you signing. Know what you in it for. Know what you in it. Like, people will get married to someone who has no money and then be mad because they have no money. You did not marry them for money. Remember what you married them for. You married them for companionship, for loving, or whatever. Focus on what you married them for. But what do? No, we start changing the game. And all of a sudden, you're expecting more out of that person or that investment or that activity or anything out of yourself. You know what I'm saying? You bought a 4-cylinder car and you want it to beat my Busa. It can't. It's not that fast. You only got 4 cylinders. And 4 cylinders are good. They're better on gas. They got their benefits. That's right. The casino is not an investment move. It's not. I want to play, before y'all leave, I just want to play the brother that I played. Again, it's on my Facebook wall. I don't know, y'all know me and trying to share this, but I'm gonna try to share because I'm on a different computer. but I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share. I'm gonna share this, but I just want y'all to hear this because he articulates it better than me on us just making better choices. And when he says men, I want the women to realize he's not just talking to men. This is for men and women. Right? 1 second. 1 second. So I'm hoping that I have so many things up, but I'm gonna share the screen. Then I'm gonna let y'all go. All right, and what's your thoughts? And I just want us to meditate on this because you know I've gone and I've shared so much, but the emphasis is about us making better choices, us getting help when we need it, us, putting less emotion into our financial moves and more thought, more strategy, more God. 1 second. I want to do this. Well, at least you can see it. Okay. When I had this, I hope it does it right. Oh, okay. I see it on the screen. I gotta give you the other screen. I hope you can hear the chasing money. I wouldn't have, I don't know, but I'm gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do this. Did y'all hear that when I played it? When I started playing it, just say yes. All I can see is Mr. Harris's last one. But look, okay, I'm gonna play this and we're gonna pray for the best.
Taught me the reason why chasing money is just as dangerous as ignoring it. So follow me here in this thought for a moment. It says in Proverbs 10, a rich man's wealth is his strong city. The poverty of the poor is their ruin. So I'm like, okay, what does that mean? So I do some deeper research and here's what I found. First things first, what you should know about me is that I'm very deep on studying the Hebrew meaning of words, like the etymology, so I can understand what it truly meant so I can apply it the right way. The Hebrew meaning of wealth, which I believe is pronounced osher, stands for abundance, security, and protection. The Hebrew meaning for strong city, which I believe is pronounced kuryu, stands for a fortress, a defense system. The Hebrew meaning for poverty, which I believe is pronounced resh, stands for a state of weakness, a trap. Well, first things first, what we can translate from all of that is money is meant to be a shield, not an idol. And then I wanted to apply this lesson to myself as a man, and I came to the conclusion that there are two types of men. First, you got the man who ignores money, and then you have the man who worships money. And let's break down each one. So first, you have the man who ignores money. In my opinion, that's the man who's comfortable with being broke, or he's a procrastinator. Like, he never actually starts investing. He says, I'll get to it at another time. It's not until his car breaks down that he begins to panic. It's not until his children need something that he starts scrambling. And it's not until his wife is like, we got to make ends meet, that he's like, all right, what do I got to do? Now he's scrambling. The proverb said that man's poverty is his ruin. Then you have the man who chases money, who worships money, right? Like, he's always going after the bag and he's chasing the next deal. He's burning himself out. He's neglecting his wife and his family in the process. He never truly gets to appreciate all that he's built because he's on to the next check. So this man is really no better than the man who ignores money, because his wealth isn't a fortress. It's actually a prison. It's just a luxury prison. So either way, a man who doesn't understand money is controlled by it. So there's 4 things that you should take away from this, bro. Number 1, a wise man builds wealth, but he never lets it own him. Number 2, money should serve you, never the other way around. Number 3, and this one is probably most important to me, is that you need money to protect your family, but if it costs you your family in the process, what was the point? Number 4, the goal is balance. Build your fortress, but do not become a prisoner inside of that fortress in the process. And I want to leave you with this very important verse, bro. Proverbs says the blessing of the Lord makes rich and he adds no sorrow with it. It means that if your wealth comes from God, it will not come at the cost of your family, your peace, or your integrity. Money should serve you, not enslave you.
Have you seen this video?
Amen. Money should serve you, not enslave you. Enough said. Money should serve you. And I'm here to serve you. Oh, thank you, Snoopy D. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. I love y'all. God bless you. Members only meeting on Friday mornings. Go to AfroEconomics.com. Oh, thank you, Rosita. Thank you, pretty little girl. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Bye.